Hi, this is my second video for Paul McWhorter's Pico W Lesson 90. Uh, there's lots of people following along with us and several people posting videos. And I did my video first and uh, used what I had in my knowledge, but we have Charlotte that's also doing these, and she does a lot of good thinking out of the box that I just my brain just can't get to. And um, one example was what she posted in her video that just came out is uh, normally when you set the value of a register so that you can loop down to zero in it, we're limited to 5 bits. But she pointed out, which which it's after you say it, you say, "Oh, why didn't I think of that?" But she's really good at thinking of these outside the box things. But anyhow, she took it and she just took the zeros and inverted it and made it uh, uh, giant number and 32, whatever the highest 32-bit unsigned number is. And um, she said it was going to take 2 years to cycle down to zero, even at the 2000 hertz or whatever. And uh, so that was the end of her video, and I said, "Oh, okay. I'll take the challenge. How can we make that work a little bit so we can choose how long it's going to be, in steps? You're not going to choose to a single number very easy, but you can uh, choose pretty good on the steps of doing things. So, uh, let's get to the code on how I changed my thing so I could choose the delay a little bit better. So here's the code. Like I said, all the way up to here is just the code, the same as the last video where you're taking the number and inverting it. That way you can count up instead of down with your LEDs. And but from 9 to 13 is where we're doing the loops delay. And there's 10, 9, 10, and 11 is the three lines we're using to set Y to what we want it to be. So what we're doing is using the ISR register because that's the only one that we can use to shift on it, I believe. So I take we have this null property or whatever you call it, null value that we can put in there, which just fills the register with zeros. So we got zeros, and then if you invert it, they become all ones. So that's 32 ones in a row. And we're moving that into our ISR. So our ISR is full of ones, but then as Paul showed us, we can use the ISR to shift, and we can shift a null value in, which is, and then the next thing is how many bits of zeros do you null is zero. So how many bits of zeros do you want to shift over? And um, what we're doing is we're actually creating the zeros because everything else is one. And then we come down here to the next line and we're taking the ISR, which is a bunch of ones at the beginning and then a bunch of zeros at the lower end of it. And if you invert that, the zeros become ones and the ones become zeros. So that way you can get a number of ones depending on what you have here. I think I started out with seven there, but I changed it to play with it. And so we got, you know, in this line, we're going to end up with seven zeros, and the rest of the 32 bits are going to be one. And when you invert that, of course, the ones become zeros, and then so you have 7 bits of ones. So 7 bits of one is 127, I guess, instead of 128, but you're counting down to zero. And so, and then that's what you're moving back into Y. And then we're doing this jump on Y decrement so that, and then we're having 31 cycles there, or 31 plus one is 32 cycles. And then we're counting down whatever you have here. And then, so you take the 128 times 32, and in this case, you get 4,000 or about 2 seconds at 2,000 frequency. So you can increase the number of these bits. Each time you increase the shift, you are doubling your number, as Paul showed how we could double numbers doing ones. We can double numbers because we're inverting it. So the next, if you did 8, you did 256, and nine would be 512. And Paul said he had about 8 seconds. So if you doubled it twice more, you would get about 2, then 4, then 8 seconds. So if you put a 9 in there like I had, you get about the 8 second delay. But um, just letting it go, and uh, taking what Charlotte Brain put out. She's a clever girl for sure, and uh, doing something a little bit more in my mind with it. I'm sure Charlotte knows that she could do this, but like I said, this is a good way of doing it, and of course, and I'm sure there's ways of getting an exact number in instead of bringing in a null number. You could, probably figure out a different way to bring in numbers that would be, more, if you wanted exactly, 2 seconds or something, you could do that. But this is pretty cool, and that's all I got to say on this second video. It's already gone on too long. Thanks, Paul, and thanks for all the other students that are posting codes. I learn a lot from everyone I look at. Have a great day, everybody.